It is a business owner's worst nightmare. Something goes wrong when it shouldn't have. When a major crisis rears its ugly head, some business leaders become targets of ridicule and their organizations suffer irreparable damage to their reputations. Others seem to be able to handle the problem in stride and bounce back soon afterward. Joining us now from Toronto, Ontario, Canada is Ed Arundel, Senior Counsel of Temple Scott Associates, to discuss crisis communications. Ed, welcome to Dex TV.
Thanks, Hal.
So should organizations have crisis management plans in place even though no problems seem to be pending?
You know, Hal, when I think about crisis, I think the Boy Scouts had it right from the start at their motto. It's called Be Prepared. You can't be prepared enough for a crisis. Chances are you might have one that you hadn't thought about, but getting ahead of it. I mean, when you think about crises emerging from a major one, as you said in the introduction, as a strong company with your brand intact is the ultimate challenge for any organization. And, in my experience, the ones that tend to emerge are the ones that have thought this through before, and when the proverbial hits the fan, they have a set of plans they can follow.
Now, is there specific training that staff can actually go through when it comes to crisis control?
Yeah, I think there is, and a lot of risk insurers will ask their major clients to have incident plans and crisis communications as an integrated part of an incident management plan. I think it's just another part of operating the business. I could think of one refinery, Hal, in this general area that I was involved with, and they did a big incident command simulation. We had, it's kind of fun, these things, but they're serious. And about a month and a half later, at another refinery of theirs, but with the same management team, sure enough, a crisis happened, and they got through it. They didn't get through it swimmingly because there was a tragedy, but in terms of crisis management, they got through it, and at the other end, without any harm to the brand or to the company's reputation.
So, Ed, the unthinkable happens and a crisis does occur with your organization. Is there a template or guidelines to which steps should be taken?
There are lots of things you can go and go on the internet and find out, but a good friend of mine, Paul Rhodes, he and I worked together in government a couple of times. Paul had a nice way of putting it. He calls it the 3 C's. The first one is compassion. You acknowledge the problem. Well, you get out with the media early, but you acknowledge the problem and you express compassion, especially if there's personal injury. But even if it's just disruption to your neighbors or disruption to other stakeholders, you get out and express compassion first. Cooperation. You don't hunker down and bar the gates. You cooperate with the authorities. You cooperate with the emergency services, and you get to work on finding out what the problem is. And the third C was commitment. So compassion, cooperation, and commitment. You make sure you find out what the problem was, and I think this is the most important thing in rebuilding brands and saving corporate reputation. You really stake out your process of how you're going to make sure it doesn't happen again, and you follow up with communications around those kinds of things, especially if it's a flaw in your own manufacturing processes or your own security situations, if it's a data leak or something like that.
You mentioned the media earlier there. Now, should the media be avoided, or how can you actually transform the lemon into lemonade? Can you use media to help you out?
I mean, you have to understand that in today's, mass media and sort of the informal social media, there's no way to avoid the media, and in fact, you need to build it into your plan that you're going to embrace it. Those of us who've worked in the private sector and politics know that if in the first hours of a crisis, if you don't get out and start putting your communications directly in front of people, even if it's only to say we're working on the problem, then somebody else is going to define it for you and define the way you're responding. So get out there early, communicate directly, control your part of the message to the amount you can. I think, my friends who are journalists would tell me that things go easier even if you don't have anything to say, but you do say the CEO is going to be available, in 45 minutes to provide an update and to talk about regularly scheduled updates. The moment you put some framework around, an urgent incident, my experience has been the media enjoy that as well, but they will be going around in the period in between trying to find other views and other comments on the situation. You have to be prepared for that.
Ed, quickly, we've only got about 10 seconds left here. How do you restore your brand reputation?
you work hard at it. There's no substitute for hard work. You fix the problem. You tell the people that it was. And secondly, sometimes there are situations where you won't replace a brand. There are very few of them, but sometimes it'll be the case. And so, in terms of your risk analysis of your portfolio of products, you should have some planning in place where you can strengthen other brands and have other approaches to the market.
Ed, we really appreciate your time here today. Thanks so much for joining us on Dex TV.
Thanks, Hal. Really appreciate it. Bye.
Ed Arundel is the Senior Counsel from Temple Scott Associates, joining us on the phone from Toronto, Ontario, Canada.